Hey, welcome, friends, YouTube and Instagram, and people joining us from all around the world. If you would please, just tell me where you're coming in from. Leave it in the chat. Any questions that you have, please go ahead and let me know. My name is Andrew Beach, and I'm actually a teacher of self-education. I help professionals communicate their value to find great new jobs faster. Now, today, we're going to learn about the number one tool that you should use to find jobs today. And so part of this conversation is for us to have a dialogue. And if you have any questions about job search, interviewing, networking, whatever it might be, resume, I'm happy to answer any of those questions. Just leave them in the chat or the comments down below. Now, today, we're actually going to be covering a topic that's near and dear to my heart. And I actually first saw this research on LinkedIn just a few months ago by Lou Adler. If you don't know who Lou Adler is, he's very big in the recruitment community, and he sees things from a really good perspective. That is, how do we get a quality hire inside a company? So he's bringing this corporate, recruitment function into the sphere. And so part of what we're going to share today in finding the number one tool for job search and finding the best job, the great job, the job that you want is from that research. And so I give him full credit for assembling the research. I'm just sharing it with you because I think it's really valuable and that you will get better results if you follow the research. Okay? So let's go ahead and hop in. We'll do the education first, and then we'll do the Q&A afterwards. But so here we go. So we're going to phrase it this way. These are the top 5 things, the top 5 methods to finding work today. And we're going to go from lowest to highest. Okay? So what that means is we're going to start with the least effective method first, which is logical, right? And so we want to know, hey, if this is the situation, let's start with number 5. And so it's kind of like a countdown list. So number 5, blind application to a critical job is a 1 in 250 shot. 0.004% effective. So don't get me wrong, not that this method doesn't generate results, it just doesn't generate consistent results for most people. And so if you had a method that you knew was less than 1%, how much time would you spend on that method? That's a big question, don't you think? So let's think about that for just a moment. What is the single most ineffective method? Blind application. Okay, so that means if you're putting your resume, your cover letter, anything into an online portal, that method, according to the recruitment community, not according to me, is the least effective method to get hired. Now, let's move to number 4. Drum roll, please. Recruiter sourced a candidate. So if a recruiter went out and found you, that's actually a 1 in 50 shot. That's a 2% conversion rate. So that means you would have to contact 50 recruiters before you get one opportunity. And so that isn't an effective method either. So if you're spending all of your time getting your resume dialed in, putting in the perfect application, reaching out to recruiters, trying to get them to respond, you have to recognize that these methods are the least effective methods. So you say, Andrew, well, what am I supposed to do? Well, that's a great question. When we get into the top 3, I'll show you what you need to do. Simply put, in today's market, looking for jobs comes down to 2 things: your ability to communicate your value and meeting the right people. Okay, so we'll get into that in a minute. So just know that I'm not here to make you feel bad. I'm just here to share the information. And the information, the statistics say less than 2% through blind application and reaching out to recruiters. Okay? So let's go to number 3. Internal employee referral. 1 out of 12 odds. That's 8.3% effective. It's 4 times more effective to reach out to somebody you know inside the company who's an employee, 4 times, than reaching out to the recruiter. Now, I might be upsetting some of my recruiter friends when I say this. Go around the recruitment function. Find somebody inside the company that you can actually have a conversation with, because you have 4 times higher probability that you're going to get hired that way. Okay. And so the reason for that is they found that it's a quality referral because this person typically knows you. They're willing to put their reputation on the line that you'll be a good fit, and wink, wink, they might actually get a stipend, a referral bonus, or some kind of payment for bringing you in and you staying there a certain period of time. So don't ignore that reaching out to friends, family, people you know at these companies can lead to results. So please put that on your list. All right. So now, what's the number 2? It's referred to a hiring manager. So let's say you know somebody really well and they refer you to the hiring manager for a conversation about your stuff, your employment. That's a 1 out of 5 chance, a 20% chance you're going to win if you reach out to somebody who knows a hiring manager. This is the beauty of LinkedIn second degree connections. If you can see that your friend, your family member, your solid person is on LinkedIn and they're connected to the hiring manager. Now, you don't have to have an open requisition to know their hiring manager. They typically have very similar words in their title, meaning they have manager in their title, director, vice president, senior manager, chief CXO, right? So chief financial officer, chief executive officer, whatever you're seeking, you'll see something unique in their titles. It says manager, okay? So in your particular area of interest, you can typically find a manager or somebody who would be known as your future boss. And then you can see on LinkedIn the secondary connections that put you to that person's front doorstep. Now, how many times do you have to do that? You only have to contact 5 people to get to one hiring manager. Isn't that interesting? 1 out of 5 will lead you to an opportunity. So that then is, let's say, 10 times more effective than reaching out to a recruiter, and a lot better than doing blind application. So here's the thing. Reach out to the people, have a good conversation, not about your need for employment, but what are they doing? What are their challenges? What are they facing? See, asking questions is going to put you at an advantage because you don't have to talk about yourself, and it's going to demonstrate your interest. And when you're interested, wow, people like that. That's how you build rapport, okay? So be a trusted advisor to a hiring manager or find that person, okay? So drum roll, please. What's the number 1 tool to finding jobs? It is internal or prior colleague. Now, that's interesting, isn't it? 1 out of 2 opportunities, a 50% chance you'll get hired if the hiring manager knows you firsthand or worked with you before. Surprise, surprise. So many people I talk to are looking to leave a company because they just don't see any opportunity there. Well, the interesting thing is if you just network inside your company, meet some new hiring managers, if there are some, hey, I recognize not every company is large, but if you find a hiring manager inside the company while you're still working, you're now at a good position to have an opportunity that you didn't have before. Okay? So what does this mean? That it's actually, what is that now? 25, 2 into 5, 250, 25 times more likely than reaching out to recruiters that you'll get an opportunity by reaching out to a hiring manager. Okay? So personal firsthand relationships with hiring managers are the number 1 tool to getting hired today, whether there's an opportunity or not. Let's take a what if, okay? What if today you reached out to a hiring manager and there's no opportunity? You're going to say to yourself, Andrew, networking doesn't work. It doesn't mean it didn't work. That means that was one of the 2 that didn't have an opportunity for you right now. Okay, so what it could mean is that there is an opportunity for you there tomorrow. Somebody could quit. Tomorrow, somebody could get fired. I hope they don't, but it could happen. Somebody could retire. Somebody could get promoted. Somebody could, God forbid, they die. I would hate for that to happen too, but tomorrow could be an opportunity. So just because there isn't something today doesn't mean there isn't something tomorrow, okay? Your job is to just go build relationship with hiring people. If you want good opportunity in your future, go meet hiring managers, okay? Go interact with them. Find out what makes them tick. What challenges are they facing? Build relationship. Demonstrate value. Ask a lot of questions. See if they can be your mentor, right? So there's a lot of ways for you to find these opportunities to network, okay? Now, that brings me to the 3 steps to career success. This is the first time I've actually packaged and offered to the public a system, a training program that is available to you in a group coaching interactive situation. Now, this isn't an online class, okay? There's plenty of online classes that you can take. This is an interactive learning experience. This is where you and I, in a group setting, get the opportunity to take advantage of my 12 years of coaching experience. I've coached over 1,000 people through career transition or promotion, okay? So I have a little bit of experience. And I personally have gone through transition 4 times in my career. So I'm not new to this process, and I've actually found out through personal experience and using my experience on other people in their situation, it actually works. And so there's plenty of people out here that can give you 100 ways to do your resume, how to write the perfect cover letter. If all of these things worked, why would you make 200, 300, 400 applications and not automatically have a job? It just doesn't happen that way. We have to be transparent, open, honest. We have to have an interview. So if that activity is not generating interviews for you, you might take a look at this opportunity. This course is actually going to be first time open to a limited number of people. And so we're going to identify really 3 things. 1, who are you? Meaning, how do you define yourself? Until you know who you are, how on earth can you present a brand or a product or a service to somebody else in exchange for their money? Because that's what job search is. That's what promotion is. That you can solve somebody's problem in exchange for their money, right? Preferably, you're going to demonstrate and add more value than they pay you in money, okay? The second thing is, what do you want to do next? Meaning, how do we connect your brand to the marketplace? How do we find the right companies, the right people